Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Life with the Wards, where we talk all things marriage and military.
If you would like to continue to see our content or see more of our content, make sure you like and subscribe.
Yes, ma'am. Guys, another week down in the books.
Yes, let's go.
Deeper into the year we go.
Yes, it'll be done before we know it.
Oh my gosh, that's too true. Guys, make sure you let us know down in the comments how your week was. I had a pretty good week.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, pretty easy going.
Yeah.
How was yours, babe?
My week was pretty simple, pretty easy going too. I am starting a new position,
Ooh.
so things have been pretty interesting, but so far so good. So
Love to hear that, baby.
yes.
Well, as usual, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get into this week's woke quote. This week's woke quote reads, "Marriage does not guarantee you will be together forever. It's only paper. It takes love, respect, trust, understanding, friendship, and faith in your relationship to make it last."
Oh, that one was a big one.
Heavy.
Yes. For me, this one screams titles are just that, titles. Okay. And what I mean by that is the fact that, a lot of us, and when I say us, I'm just talking about society in general. Sometimes we want the title without the work, right? You're my husband, I'm your wife, all of these titles, but you're not doing wifely things. You're not doing things that a husband would do. You're not upholding the standard. You have to be those things before getting the title. Now, I'm not saying give away the milk without buying the cow. Now, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you need to show these qualities, that you have these qualities, and then you will get that title. But, it takes faith, those qualities, friendship. Those are the qualities I'm referring to make a good marriage, to be a good wife, to be a good husband. Those are the titles. It takes that to have that. So that's what it means to me. Don't focus on the title, focus on what's behind the title.
And it definitely is so much better at the end of the day when you're able to say, I'm happily married. Because I know I put in the work day in and day out, no matter how tired I am. I put in the work because I want my marriage to be successful.
Yeah, I have a blissful marriage.
Because you can be married, happily married,
and
it
have bliss. Bliss,
a blissful marriage,
and that's a whole nother topic, y'all. Girl. But hey, we're right here. We know.
But
so yeah,
as you guys can see,
yes. And again, guys, let us know down below what that means for you guys.
It's been great so far.
Does that resonate with you? Have you seen people, do the title thing, and then everything behind the scenes is very, very scary. Because I know for sure I have seen that a couple times with individuals. But take it away, my love.
Well, you guys can see the title already, but I just want to say, because I like it. When you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
Now, moving right along.
Yes.
How did you grow your relationship so it was ready for marriage?
Yes. And again, guys, these are more questions from you all. So we want to say thank you for interacting with us, being involved with us, being curious about our story. And if it can impact the next person, we're more than happy to share it.
Absolutely.
But yes, first question. Sorry about that.
Not at all. How did you grow your relationship so it was ready for marriage?
How did we grow our relationship so it was ready for marriage? Are you taking it or am I taking it?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay. A lot of prayer.
Yeah.
A lot of faith. And this was before marriage. The biggest time in our relationship, I would say, was during the time the boot camp situation was 7 months. A lot of that was writing letters. And then a lot of it was you being in like different states.
Yeah.
Time zones were different. So I would say the way that we grew our marriage was working on communication during that time, because long distance requires that. And I kid you not, we didn't feel like, for me at least, someone told me that I had a long distance relationship. And I was like, the only thing that really makes my long distance relationship long distance is the fact that he's physically not here. Because in every other way, he feels right next to me.
Yeah.
With communication. So we worked on that, and we that was our baby. Like, communication was our thing. We communicated when we could.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Like, I'm very proud of us with our communication. I would say that's the hugest way we grew our relationship, and also praying for the other person.
Yeah, I would also say having the important conversations. It's very easy to get caught up in the good time. Like, man, we are having such a good time.
Right.
I don't want to bring up a heavy hitting, hey, do you want kids? Hey, what does your future look like?
Right.
Do you want to
but
be
you
married?
have to.
And ruin that bliss.
Yeah, but you have to.
But you have to.
You have
to.
And,
we were both mature enough to have these conversations. And, we both came out on agreements on things. And that's a lot of the check marks early on of like, well, I know that she wants to be married eventually. Has the same vision of a future with kids and everything that I do.
Right.
And that's a important step that you have to take. You have to do it, because if you don't, you're just kind of walking into the future blind. And
no, absolutely. I think asking the important questions.
Yep.
And respecting and actually hearing that person's answer. Because the last thing I will say is, for example, people will say, do you want kids? And you say, no, I don't want kids. And that person says, oh, well, you'll be so in love with me one day you'll want them. And that day comes and you never want them, and now there's an issue. Hear them, take them at face value for what they are saying. That's just my tidbit of advice that nobody asked for. But how do we grow our relationship? Asking the important question, communicating, and keeping each other in our prayers. I prayed more for you than I prayed for myself, especially when you were going through things with the military.
You're in my prayers every single night.
Yeah. So, and praying for this potential marriage, praying for those things. That's what we did.
You can take that.
Okay, number 2. What role did the physical separation play in bringing you closer?
I feel like that was the ultimate test in my eyes.
Yeah,
if we can make
you
it
telling
through
me that.
7 months.
What did I tell you at the end of every letter?
If we can make through this, we can make it through anything. Yeah. I mean, and you're right.
Try not to get emotional, guys, because that was such a time for us.
Yeah. Because I think, of course, like during it, it's during boot camp, you don't have technology. There's not a lot of free time, I would say, but like you're gonna find time to let your mind run. And I definitely had times where I'm like, oh my god, like what if she's forgotten about me or doing other things without me, or has moved on from me, and I just have to wait to get my phone to find out she's moved past, she's doesn't want to be with me anymore. So coming out on the other side and seeing that it's like it makes it feel like it's stronger than ever. Like, we can get through anything.
Yeah. I also think that, and I think that's pretty interesting, because I mean, we were writing a lot of letters to each other.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's good to be transparent about that, because even with there being communication of letters and stuff, having that sense of doubt can still be there. For me, I would say that separation played a big part in understanding that we can overcome adversity together. And that's why at the end of your letters, I would say, if we can make it through this, we can make it through anything.
Yeah.
Because this was the time that, communication would be difficult, and not because of us, but because of the situation.
Yeah.
Even though we were writing letters and stuff, by the time you get one, time has went on. It's through the mail, the snail mail and stuff. But it showed me that my marriage can endure. And it showed me that I have a person who can endure with me. And so it really showed me the strength that our bond has.
Oh, yeah.
And that really contributed to our marriage, and contributes to our marriage, for sure. Yeah.
Were you stronger from being apart?
What do you guys think?
I guess.
I guess maybe. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Every day of the week.
I mean, man, sometimes I sit and think about those times, and I'm just like, I remember, graduating high school, and understanding that, I need to make this sacrifice so we can have this later.
Yeah.
And they were not easy sacrifices. But understanding that there is greater later, and understanding that, this separation and these sacrifices will only build what we have later. Yeah. I mean, it was intense.
Overcoming such a big adversity so
young, so soon
into our relationship.
So young and so soon into our relationship.
It really sets up everything else.
Man.
Like, this isn't. No, doesn't compare to that.
Doesn't compare to
Lightweight.
That. Yeah.
Look at this, babe. Look at that. Nothing.
Yeah, seriously.
So.
And we don't really get on here, to be Debbie Downers or anything, but in addition to that, we had some personal things happening in life very soon in our relationship where we had to show up for one another in ways that we have never had to show up for another person in our lives before.
Yeah.
And that really contributed as well while the long distance was happening.
Yeah.
So that was intense too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely strong.
Yeah. Super strong. Super duper.
Let me take the next one.
Okay. So the next one says, were you no, sorry, I was reading the same one. What effect did God have on your relationship?
You see, this needs to be a whole separate video.
I was gonna say the same thing.
We wouldn't be together without God. Maybe everybody says that, like, oh, God brought me to my person, but
God.
Once we tell the story, it sounds like a Disney movie or a Cinderella story.
But I'm telling you, y'all,
God literally put us together.
The way this happened, you have to be like, no way. Like, I'm telling you, oh yeah. But when it comes to the effect God had on our relationship, he
kept us close to each other.
He kept us close to each other. But he also revealed to us how we were the fitting piece to the other person's puzzle.
Absolutely.
I learned things about myself that I had been praying for God to reveal in me through this man right here. I didn't pray for it to be through this man right here. I wanted it to be a one-on-one with him and I. And he brought this amazing soul to give me a mirror, a reflection, in such a way. And this would have to be a whole nother segment, y'all. I'm telling you. Yeah. And if you want to hear it, we'd be more than happy to share it. But he had a powerful effect, and he had an infinite effect on letting us know very quickly that this is my will, this is my way. And so that's what I would say about that, with keeping it very short for now. Because we will more than likely probably end up making a video on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll probably get emotional. I get a little bit emotional talking about that story because it's so powerful, and it shows me that there is a God. There is a God.
Yeah.
So I will let you take our last one.
All right. Did you ever worry that you were marrying too young?
I'm gonna let you take this one first.
Absolutely. Of course,
He's like,
it ran through my mind. Absolutely ran through my mind.
If it doesn't,
it'd be a little concerning.
A little concerning.
Because it is a very big deal. Like, you literally are deciding you are gonna be with me for the rest of our life.
Right. You can't.
The rest
of
my life.
You can't break me. You can't move me.
I'm
here.
Very long
life.
Very long commitment. So of course there's gonna be times where I'm just like, I mean, I know how I'm feeling, but it's like, am I really feeling this way?
Right.
And talk to God. And I've also brought it up with Savannah, like, hey, like, I'm a little nervous. It's a very big commitment, and being able to come to her with that and not scare her off or anything like that. It's just more reassurance that you're making the right decision.
Yeah. And to lay it on even more, this was your first.
Yeah.
I am his first.
Everything.
Yeah. And you are my first everything. The guys were trying to harass me in high school, and I was like, but this was my first serious relationship too. But having experienced so much in life so young, I have quite an outlook. And so that's why I chose to, not entertain anybody until, but that's a whole other story. I would say, was I concerned that I was getting married young? Yes. But I was concerned that I was, about getting married young because of the fact that I wanted to make sure that the things that affect us as young people would not affect my marriage. Like, for example, understanding that you will change.
Yeah.
Right? The man that you are at 18, you might not be at 30.
Especially after the
woman, right? And to add that on top, and the woman I was at 18 might not be at 30. I hope I'm not at 30. I hope I have grown. But even people's growth that happen, it can affect that other person in some of the worst ways. And that makes no sense because this growth looks beautiful on me. This growth looks great on me, right? You could both be
making positive growth,
but it's
and yet it just doesn't mesh.
It's just not meshing well.
Yeah.
So all of that had to be taken into account. And I had to understand, I'm getting married young, and I'm marrying a person that's going to change that I may not recognize in 10 years, 15 years. Can I stick through that?
Yeah.
Can I walk through that? Can I move through that? Can I make this work through that? So that's what I was analyzing when it comes to being married young.
Would you say you asked yourself, is my love willing to grow with me?
Ooh. Look,
Write that down. Quote it.
Is my love willing to grow with it? Yeah. I think that was one of the biggest questions I asked. Analyzing that first and processing that first led me to that question of, will I be able to love you within your moments of growth when you grow to, take these shapes and forms or what have you.
We're going to make that next week's woke quote.
Man.
I hope you know.
Because if you know, you know. I mean, when you've been married 30, 40 years, that person you married, I'm sure they've grown, they've developed, they've shaped, and you've loved them through those growth. And some of them were growing pains for you.
Yeah.
Not even for them, for you.
Have I grown since 18?
Oh, have you? You have. You very much have. You very much have. And some growth takes time, right? And some is more rapid. Some you can get behind. Some is hard to get behind.
Yeah.
But understanding that just like we grow, our love grows. And our love will shape and develop and mold. One thing about love, it's an action word.
Mm-hmm.
It's an action word. It's you have to act on it. You have to express it. You can't just say I love you. You have to show it in many different ways. I can't just
sign the papers that we're married
and be done with it.
And be done?
Yeah, no.
It all times.
Yeah, that's when it starts. That's when the work starts. And the younger you get married, and that's a whole nother subject, because I believe whether you get there are sometimes, like I said, I am young and I've experienced a lot in life at a young age, right? That typically people don't go through or what have you till they're 30, 45.
Yep.
So I'm blessed in that way. And I used to hate when people would tell me that, because I'm like, you have no idea what I went through to get here, and it wasn't pleasant. Now I'm understanding that God had a greater plan,
Greater later.
But yeah, the younger, people say like, oh, you're getting married young, but I've seen people get married at 45 and they're divorced by 47, so I don't believe that age necessarily plays a play. I believe that experience does. but I also believe that it depends on how much work you want to do and are willing to do. Because when the less experience, I'm not going to say the younger you are, the less experience you have, the more work has to go into it. Truly. Yeah. So yeah, you got to be willing to work.
Gotta
be willing to work.
Gotta show up.
Show out. Man, that's something. I think we're gonna have some interesting topics coming up, y'all.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Is that all of our questions?
That's all we got.
Okay.
So I saved the best for last.
Yes, you did. Oh man. Well, I'm super duper excited. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for what's to come on this channel. The topics, what we'll be discussing. But please, guys, let us know in the comments. Drop some information in the comments. We want to read, respond, and soak it all in ourselves. Do you agree with the things we have said? Because I believe we had some powerful statements here.
I think so. I'd like to say so.
Yes. But yes, we won't take any more of your time. And we will see you guys next week. Bye guys.